it's very hard if you're Fnatic to like be like, hey, you know what, guys, we got to play off of that. We got to feed this energy here because Alfir is giving that to them in spades.
You absolutely do. Kaplan, I mean, Fnatic plays a bit of a weirder comp with this double duelist, the Yoru, the Raze. Talk the viewers through what should they expect out of this comp going into map 2?
Yeah, they have a lot of different looks here. They're able to move the Viper Lurk around to different spots. Sometimes they throw a really neat orb mid that makes some pressure. They can go fast, they can go slow, but they do have to respect the G2 breach. They should have a little bit of a hard time fighting head on for any space against the breach, kind of similar to Lotus actually. Yeah,
it's gonna be big. G2 lot staking on this game. They lost in Champions to this team 0-2, got sent home by them after the amazing tournament they had at Shanghai, and it would be a really similar story again, making it to the finals in Bangkok. If they were to go home here in top 4, it would definitely be a disappointment for those boys at G2.
Oh, without a doubt, and you can see Fnatic taking their time with this agent select, having the conversations that they need as they get ready for this map 2. Could very well be the end of G2's story here in Toronto. Toronto, do you think that's going to be the case here? Oh, a lot of no's. Do you guys think we're going to map 3? I think people just want to watch more Valorant here at the Enercare Center. That's the most important thing now, Mimi. But G2 need to dig deep if they want to unseat this Fnatic team.
They absolutely do. They pulled off that incredible comeback the other day against Gen G. Had to dig deep to stay in this tournament. But Fnatic, a great team, going into another map where they are comfortable on. They are on a 5-map win streak here on Split. So it is going to be a challenge, even for a team with the tenacity that G2 has.
Coach Kaplan. Now, obviously, you're coach of the Sentinels in this situation, but let's say you're coach of G2 in this scenario. What are you telling the boys? What are you thinking about as you get ready for this game?
Yeah, hey guys, remember what we talked about? Remember what we planned? There's no doubt they know what they need to do here. They already played HyperX, playing a similar comp on Split. They've got the experience. They've had time to review. They just have to make sure they stay trusting their ideas, despite the fact that their tournament life is on the line.
Kaplan, you've played long series against G2 this year. You know this is a really hard team to put down, even when you win a map early like that.
Yeah, it is really tough. They know how to stay composed no matter what, and then you start making mistakes, and they just watch you make them.
But you know what I have to lean on, though, is the fact that on the other side of the field, you got Boaster, who's just been getting up and taunting his opponents nonstop. And that has to be so infuriating to play against, Coach.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, I can only imagine for the players who are up there, but when you're constantly reminded of the opposing team's confidence, it just makes it really hard.
And bringing that energy for him. He's so comfortable in these positions, had to come back when they've won trophies in the past. Missed out on even going to Bangkok. Now an opportunity to make it top 3 here in Toronto as that final EMEA team. Everyone else from that region out in the group stage. Went home early in this tournament. But Fnatic staying in it despite the roster changes, despite bringing a rookie player into this tournament.
Do want to inform everyone, a little bit of a technical hiccup on the stage. We're going to get that sorted in just a little bit. So you'll stick with us for the time being, a little podcast. You know, you can't complain about that. Wait a minute, just got told I'm a liar. We're going into the game, everybody. Let's dive into the action. Toronto, make some noise for Brent and Sideshow.
We're going to need to see G2 dig deep, show that resilience that allowed them to come back versus Gen G. They're going to stand a chance against this Fnatic squad because both of these teams are aiming for greatness at this event. Both of them are looking to go that much further.
Jonah P, though, quoted as saying very recently, it's going to be a complete failure if we lose now, a disappointment. We're already thinking about the finals, and I think that just less pressure and more their own team's expectations. They want redemption for Bangkok. But Fnatic stands in the way.
It's apparent. Okay, fault line. Alpha has found a pocket to play in. Even on this angle. Nothing crazy, though, from Fnatic.
They're expecting the reclear.
And expected they will at least be rewarded. Alpha is lying in wait. Jumps on the chance. Now TP going to be layered in towards the back of that site.
I mean, it's a perfect read there. Really good control. They know exactly what G2 are going to go for. And now they've got themselves a 5v4. And Fnatic are never going to overrush in these kind of situations. They can sit back, play the player advantage. Even allow Chronicle maybe to work a little bit of pressure over towards A and try to pull people off this hard anchor position.
Fnatic just trying to keep G2 guessing. Jonah P holding down that fault line. It's going to be able to contact a Leaf who's holding from the high ground.
Full Fade utility and being dumped right now over towards A to try to pull people. There's only 2 now ready to defend B.
There it is. It's going to be sailing up and over towards it. Exchanged evenly, even out of satchels in hand. Alpha.
That's a great shot.
Straight into the fray. Leaf is there. Runs back with the flash is even better. Jonah P is going to do a lot from this spot. And Trent does supplement. There's still a player disadvantage for them. Time running short. How do you get yourself in through the back of this?
The heaven lurk.
Heaven lurk is what they're waiting for. That's on the timing. Crashies just laying around towards the side. And he's already dropped down, but he wasn't expecting it. Trent, he has to live. If he stays alive, he's won the round. Trent! Absolutely ridiculous.
That's an unbelievable way of the pistol round to finish. Trent is completely surrounded. Got his opponent Fade lurking through heaven. Should have been an absolute wrap, but they lost track of where he was. They knew that he'd been over towards spawn. And I think Crashies was searching for him, didn't realize. He was just tucked right behind that box. Try. He didn't even need the final kill, but he gave us it anyway. Nice! That's pretty absurd, because I think Fnatic should have been able to wrap that one up and win 3 out of 3 pistols so far. But G2 rewrite the narrative.
Skipping past a lot of this util is going to be the Prowler. Kayak taking that space. Straight shots fired down at Bulldog. Not exactly the weapon of choice here, but with the horns followed up, Leaf is here. Fill in the gap to the defense.
Oh, and the C's into the snakebite combo to give Leaf a third. Leaf now actually going to be approaching a Viper's Pit. He's able to clean up the rest of these players.
Looking for the last few. Spots it out. Chronicles. Drop 2 of them. Spike accessible to a degree, but Valen is quick to recover.
That's what Leaf, a really big anti-eco round for him, gets very close to the Viper's Pit. Not going to have it online for this bonus, but could be a difference maker early on in a crucial rifle round, especially if G2 can do a little bit of damage in this next to the Fnatic economy. A rare, quick round as well. Fnatic taking a lot of round control very early on. But you're expecting, again, quite a lot of these rounds, even with the double duelist, to be slow paced from Fnatic on their attack side. I know Kaplan on the desk was talking about the fact that G2 got some experience playing against double duelist compositions, but HyperX and Fnatic are pretty much as far apart as you can play the same comp.
And the bait setup. Alpha just trying to swing off of that, catching onto the jump peak.
He did get an aim punch as well. That was a Phantom 140 headshot. But I'm really interested in this battle over towards B main. You see it here from Kayak and Jorg, just kind of feeling each other out. On the pistol round, Jorg got baited into walk re-clearing B main. But B main control is super important in the current meta.
Smokes propped up, recalled. We're going to be left guessing. There's haunts and action occurring onto every extremity right now. Pushing Chronicle out of the path. Jorgamo looking to potentially take a fight here. Knife out for Kayak. Oh my, that's unfortunate timing.
I mean, that's a weird decision as well, isn't it? Leaf versus Chronicle. And Chronicle gets the better end of it after Valen had already retreated. And now Valen's alone and isolated on the A side with the Paranoia as his best friend.
That's to anchor single-handedly. Reinforcements arriving in the form of Trent, but he doesn't really have a weapon to his name. It's the classic and a bit of Utah. They can hear it now. Smokes are going to start to be laid down, blossoming. Haunt reveals. And not even the exit for Valen. Just trying to TP out of it, but just opened his body up wide for it. So Fnatic, methodical approach towards it. Trying to hold back the onslaught now that G2 are trying to dish out. No one is ready for Alpha.
Yeah, that's a nice cleanup from Fnatic. Really good positioning too. Even if Alpha hadn't been able to close out with 3 kills, Boasters waiting in vents as a backstab. They've set up that round really nicely here. Fnatic are so good at their attack side macro. I know we're watching a little bit of a mistake here from Kayak, but he has some B main information. Chronicle controls the other side of the map. And in the meantime, the rest of the pack is working their way up mid, getting a heaven control, and just slowly pushing back G2. G2 at some point in these slow rounds are going to have to fight to re-clear. And that always comes with a bit of danger.
Straight back into it.
Once more, same 1-3-1 setup from the attackers, right? Kayak holding on.
Heavy premium, just spotting the cross-up. Jorgamo will have to respect that.
And that's great information from Kayak. He saw that teleport. He knows that Jorgamo's gone back into a more passive position.
Trying to square up towards it. What a shot!
Jorg has just decided to take the fight to Kayak. Might be a bit of an experience diff happening here.
Head clean off the shoulder. Kayak's got to be watching from the spectator seat, but Chronicle's been good for it so far. Pressure up towards B Heaven though. Alpha is ahead of it, finds the gap. Time to be taken. Sees though, avoided.
It is a nice seize though, because it gets Jonah P back onto the line.
So much pressure happening. Oh, no, no, no.
Spike down mid.
It's not ideal.
He's just gifted them the spike.
The spike dropped down.
I mean, that I don't think was even. I think that was just supposed to be fake pressure anyway. Kron might have done enough.
Has to be the savior for him. Leaf, judge in hand. Lets it loose and lets it rip. So putting a bit of fear into them, putting the squeeze now into Leaf, and a bit of spam chopping him down. Leaf
20 seconds.
at the knees, 20 seconds, scrambling, dashing.
Spike down mid.
And it's leaving it just down to Crashies. A spike essentially unretrievable. 3-1 for G2.
Big fumble in that round from Fnatic, from Boaster. Like I said, I'm not sure if they thought the vent was completely clear and they were just trying to make a drop noise to fake a pivot into A and go back to B, or whether Boaster really wanted to try to take vent and just didn't have a teammate with him. But either way, you can't make a mistake like that when you're already a slow-paced team. And clearly the Fnatic coaches are not happy about it either, because we're about to go into a tactical timeout. And so, coming off the back of this, I mean, there was a great tac timeout on Lotus. The Desk talked about it as well. That adjustment in the second half, the coaches took the timeout, Boaster adjusted some things, and Fnatic were able to close out on map 1. Here, this is very early on. It's probably more to do with adjusting the tempo, or maybe one of the coaches has got a read on what G2 specifically are doing on their defense side. But I think there's a couple of things to just calm down here for Fnatic. Kayak's kind of getting diffed and making a couple of mistakes in terms of anticipating the aggression of Jorgamo. Jorg's just caught him on a couple of timings. And obviously we've just witnessed that fumble from Boaster dropping the spike in vent, so not sure whether it's nerves. It looked like the confidence was high for Fnatic, to be honest, on map 1. But they've now given Leaf an opportunity to get this Viper's Pit online in what could be a crucial round, though it is going to be a half-buy here. Fnatic have still got some big weapons.
Opting into it almost fully. Well, second-guessing themselves. Money's a bit all over the place here from Fnatic. TP in a fault line, sets up Valent. Horns timing.
Yeah, they've decided to use the pit in mid. Boaster's just spamming into it, but with how much Fnatic were doing 1-3-1 deep, waltzing, okay, Alpha's just going to rip Trent apart. And these three players were looking to try to put pressure over towards A early on. They know that Valent teleported, so that's what Alpha's also worried about. They think that they think that Valent might be inside that smoke. He's miles away, he's all the way towards screens, but he is slowing Fnatic down and forcing them to use util.
Now getting a bit of a move on towards a ramp. Chronicle and Alpha, the two players with rifles in hand.
But Valent is just so isolated here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's cut up on island from this point. Doesn't know if he's lost A heaven control. Doesn't really know where to lay it down the smoke either. Potentially trying to catch the cross. Fnatic are willing to play this one slowly. 45 seconds, that's a TP. Straight down to default. Taking a fight. Valent chopped down. Showstopper even expended. That's out the back pocket of Alpha. This is going to be a quick scurry away. G2 do not want any part of this.
30 seconds
Yeah,
left.
they don't want to get caught by some kind of splash rocket that gets fired into heaven. Their A-ramp fight is going to be crucial here. Chronicle's just been amazing today.
He's going to try and do it all with a judge! Chronicle!
He's perfect!
Hitting shots like that! Boaster just supplements beautifully. Recall of the smoke, Jorgamo. Really going to commit into this. The money is low.
I think G2 lost every part of this round. And lost Trent to that duel over towards A-ramp. Didn't really adjust. Valent thought that he could hold A, at least for retake, on his own. And Fnatic got into perfect positions. And then they just lost every important fight to Chronicle too.
Gone here.
the combo once more, that 1-2 punch of Alpha and Chronicle. It's been immaculate today.
They haven't stopped.
And Alpha's going to open up a lot of these rounds. Kayak too. I mean, Kayak is certainly one of those players. He was lighting up the scoreboards, topping the rankings in EMEA for stage 1. But if you're looking for experience at global events, you can't go wrong with the duo of Alpha and Chronicle.
Look, Tyranni's just walking like a bot.
That's what they are.
They're keeping that energy all the way up.
Yeah, the disrespect.
Confidence with it. Hard commit by Kayak, just jumps straight past, and this duel that's taking place.
Yeah, Jorg's had the better end of it most of the time. But at some point, with how aggressive and timing-based Jorg has been playing, he could easily get punished. They're expecting Fnatic to be trying to take some A ramp control and holding the stun for it. A stun, potentially a paranoia and a re-clear of ramp. But nobody scaled off the back of the Prowler for Fnatic. Playing it slow, cautiously.
Valen takes a peek here. You could be in a world of hurt.
That's just
poor timings, contacting, walking up onto the line. Valen wants a little bit more. It's good with a trade though. Crashies shuts that down.
Maybe an overpeak from Valen there. I think it's difficult to take 1 kill and make it into 2 against Fnatic when they're so disciplined. But still a player advantage.
Before wait,
Whoa,
just seen a barrel.
Clumsy movement, arguably, from Boaster there, just as they were calling out G2 for walking around like bots. And G2 in a 4v2. These rounds, you know, Fnatic don't get something started early in terms of map control or picks. You get some of these dull endings to the rounds, but G2 will be very happy to have the momentum paused for a moment.
It'll be another round added up to their tally. 4th one for G2.
And often when I do watch Fnatic play on Split,
10 seconds left.
I'm hit by how nice the game plan is. I think often with how precise Boaster can be and how good the coaching staff is on this team, they often come out with some kind of immaculate read. I'm not seeing that just yet today. Leaf caught towards the end, but it's not going to do too much damage to G2's economy. It does put a bit of pressure down, but there's players that can drop. These kind of unfortunate situations, though, are just a killer for Fnatic. When you're playing slowly and you're trying to be disciplined and you just kind of get spammed through a smoke, it can throw a wrench in the works massively. Like I said, though, I'm still kind of waiting for that glimmer of brilliance that you often see from Boaster's calling on the attack side. And I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that G2 have been able to keep control of B main, and that's where the fight's going to happen again early on. Jorg getting posted.
Very early fault line. And Jorg trying to take this one with a little bit more aggression. Off-angle play. It's going to be Util used to try and clear him out. Aftershock to the corner. Kayak, his gate crash was set towards main. He's got no exit anymore. But Slusto towards the back of the side. Gives him access towards the G2. Himself going to be backing out.
They chose not to try to combine that with the Fade ultimate. You know, you still got that in your back pocket over towards the retake.
Trying to take the fight forwards into their spawns. A flash and a play into it. Clone just eating a bunch of that damage. Jorgamo answers, drops down Kayak. Pit now into your face, and this dimensional drift needs to get value. Nightfall in through, into the back. Spam and a shorty. Jorgamo has got access now towards it, and Chronicle down. That means the Pit alongside with it. Jorgamo is no stopping him right now. Boaster is going to do it all from an uncomfortable spot indeed. To buy time for Alpha. To buy time for this guy to shine. 7 bullets left. Trent repositions.
6 bullets.
Leaves it into the 1v1, and time is ticking away from Trent. It's a bad plan. He's sticking this.
Alpha.
Have on it. Alpha wide. He's going to swing. He's going to swing now. Alpha.
Oh!
He claims it.
What an angle to be found from Alpha here. I thought he beefed it for sure there. Knew that Trent was only going to get half in that spot, and still had an angle to be able to swing out wide in B main. It looked like a horrid plant. And a really good combo. But considering the pressure that Jorgamo put down, getting 3 in the round, everybody else couldn't quite get it done. Look how tight that one is. Fnatic with a weapon advantage heading into round 8. And a few really good tools to be able to work with too. Cosmic Divide, Crashies with an ultimate as well. Plenty of tools to be able to get in and run some kind of set play with the ultimates. I was also talking on Lotus about the fact that G2 win almost 40% of their retakes. Fnatic are also our best team in post plants. Like one of those stats has to give up today. And at the moment, it looks like Fnatic kind of coming away with the advantage.
Yeah. Attempt by Fnatic here. Double dive in, TP into the back, Satchel's in play. Kayak has that back side control. Jorgamo forced to give it up. They claim to the side. Fnatic not content with it though. Looking like they almost wanted to step past. Through the spawn, just the deep seas.
And once more, the best post-plant team is playing against the best retake team.
And to see what comes out on top. Fight forwards, out towards Pillar. The guns, the weaponry, not ideal for G2. Starting to at least drop down into the sides, and the feed is filled up. One shade of teal. Alpha standing alone. Chronicle is going to pick up these pieces with a double face like that. G2. Disrupt the hold completely.
With a Spectre, Bren, as well. From that range. I mean, G2 are masters of being able to get the best out of the light weaponry. But kind of incredible that they make that retake work and not the one before. That has flipped the eco situation on its head entirely. Flash out! Around where it looked like Fnatic should have been able to come out on top. And equalize the game at 4-4. Suddenly, G2 are running away with things.
The headshot on me while running. What is this luck, bro?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. How is he hitting that with a Spectre from that range? Now Fnatic themselves have got to try to make something happen with a really bad vibe.
And the money has taken a tumble. Flipped 180.
And they're going to try to use this orb in mid. It's a really nice orb lineup from Chronicle, and it allows them to close the gap with lighter weaponry. So Kayak and Crashies.
Leaf. The pressure just spots the shoulder, gives up most of the space. G2, heavy emphasis being placed over towards A. No one B heaven.
These players could get pinched if G2 don't keep a ramp control. So that's why you see Trent maybe even overextending slightly to fight for this.
That's in the open.
I mean, throughout this all, Kayak inserted in vents with the Vandal. They're hoping that Leaf goes for re-exploration here, you know, with something, a stun, a paranoia, and Kayak can just grab one.
Ram take here from Fnatic, and this does put the squeeze now onto Leaf. Trying to lay in wait, and they're already putting a drop on him! Bucky in hand! And Alpha obtains the upgrade.
That's beautiful.
Slowly but surely, Fnatic are dissecting this site. Taking the map control away, it's going to be ult expended just to try and get themselves back in, but it's wasted! Caesar's perfect, Trent just trying to stay tucked in, but the horn reveals all. There will be no escape. Not this time. Not from what Fnatic are putting on show.
They cross every T and dot every I. When things work for Fnatic in this slow-paced style, it looks so perfect.
And it's desperation by G2, just wandering into that sightline. A thrifty win from Fnatic. Back and forth we go.
The economy apparently means nothing between these two teams. G2 cast down into the depths again as Fnatic keep it. But, I mean, look, they knew that Leaf was just pinned in that corner the entire time. There had not been a re-clear. Kayak's just controlling that space, keeping him corralled. And once they have that pick, pushing into the site, the perfect seize onto Valid, the perfect haunt onto Trent. I mean, it's all gorgeous. Every piece of util with purpose. And G2 take a tactical timeout for the last 3 rounds and a half. We had a dead even 6-6 on Lotus to open things up. And that, I think, is the absolute peak of both teams' map pool. But Split, it's more of an uphill battle, I would argue, for G2. Fnatic sealing up map 1 should set Fnatic up pretty here to be able to move on and face Wolves. I think G2 have got to really dig deep. At the moment, they're in the lead, but their eco's shot, and this could easily be anyone's half.
Yeah.
And once more, by the way, Brent, it's that duo of Alpha and Chronicle. 13 kills for Alpha, 11 kills for Chronicle. I mean, nowhere near double digits for anybody else. They are putting on an insane performance, this deadly duo for Fnatic. And this is why they win trophies.
Pure domination. As you said, pressure is on G2, I think.
There.
Try and slow them down despite being a round ahead. Money's not good here for G2. Scrap together a bit of a buy, a TP disengage, just to try and get some information. That's Jorgamo. Seeing if they're posted.
There.
Alpha is so happy taking this duel. I mean, he knows he's on fire. And while Chronicle's the anchor, the rock, Alpha's the tip of the spear. He's the guy that can open things up, make the magic happen. And I think he's playing more confidently than Kayak is right now too, so he is actually taking more of those opening fights.
A lot asked of him, but always ready to deliver.
Leaf again has gotten stuck a little bit in vent here. Jorg gets destroyed on site.
Yeah, just trying to anchor over towards a slide off angle, I think, trying to catch a cross. The gap, a small window that Leaf wants to try and play himself in and towards. The Sheriff does sing into his hands. Will be forced to try and back himself out and away. There are anchor players, though. Onto the site. Trent doesn't have a lot to work with here, and he needs some help, and he needs it now after shot. Trying to land it close to the corner alongside the Seas. This is Fnatic that are getting stunted.
30 seconds.
Well, lines
30
out.
seconds left.
The spike heading up towards ramp. Surely not a pivot to B.
Right into Leaf. No shotgun into his hands, just a Sheriff, but
The time.
so much danger. 20 seconds left. Where do you want to end it at this point, Fnatic? Anchor smokes are laid down. G2 trying to play that time. Kayak cracks it open and cracks heads while he's
10
at it.
seconds left.
Moving forwards, Trent has not been dislodged, dislodged at all. The time! He's denied the plant! And the time is the worst enemy of this Fnatic squad!
Trent has done it again!
He stays alive in the final moments!
Almost exactly the same as what we saw from Trent on the pistol. He's the anchor, he is in a crazy position, and yet he is the last one left alive. The clock has been a nightmare for the Fnatic on their attack side. And this time it just happens again. The reason they're planning for Heaven in this spot, by the way, is so that this side player, Trent, can't deny. And yet, whilst trying to get the plant down, they get picked off from Heaven. Gaps everywhere.
Look at that timeline. Back and forth. It's a pendulum swinging.
And always the Thrifties.
Over these teams. So deadly, so dangerous. Jorgamo, operator in his hands. He's been revealed. Get crashed to safety. It's Alpha here like a rocket in through the site, trying to at least roll out the red carpet for the rest of his team. I want to go one step further. Instant plant down for Fnatic. This is pacey.
Yeah, much faster round from them.
Completely overwhelming here, but a 9-4. Alpha just trying to evacuate, trying to back himself out. Crashes is immaculate across their placement, yet G2 not to be outdone. Already in, through, onto the site. Crossfire setup is set up indeed. Alpha trying to back away, trying to play the timing well to pull.
Chronicle in
preempting.
Heaven as well.
Leaf is already taken out. Alpha, Chronicle the Heaven player. Late flank round. He's been taken out, and now Boaster. Last one left to do it all. The pull was used earlier. Nothing else to delay. It comes down to random spams. Comes down to the clutch. And Boaster might have just done it all. No way!
Insane!
That's ridiculous!
It's Trent again! Boaster did everything he possibly could. He played it the best anyone could in that situation. And yet, flashbacks, deja vu to Forsaken spinning in circles earlier on to cast Sentinels out. He's
6
just
bullets,
wiggling
man.
around and doesn't have the ammunition.
That's a heartbreaker now. G2 leading by 3 rounds. Final round here for the first half of Split. Fnatic would love to make it a 7-5.
I mean, there have been so many moments where Fnatic arguably should have won. We're thinking Pistol, Trent, Thrifty on the site, maybe even Boaster winning the clutch there. But they're all should-haves, could-haves. And G2, with that grit, are managing to find their way into the lead. Kayak's been really absent from this attack half. He's once more over towards B, 5 and 9. It'd be a great thing for Fnatic to get him activated, especially before he has to be one of their big players on defense with the op, etc.
Shift up here from the defensive setup of G2. So Valen is the one anchoring, and he's going to be feeling that heat. It's turned up, under scrutiny. Paranoia, still prime, still ready. Jonah P will have to let loose some util of his own, and then looking for that refight up towards heaven. It's an important one. Valen has to reposition, using control out towards it. Jonah P with a flash, and backing himself out. TP to try and escape. The dimensional drift is going to be pointing all of this out. Kayak is getting the info for his team. Both are trying to take that peek and that fight towards it. That's wild. It's disjointed. Valen's doing this one with just a Spectre in hand, but not for much longer. Time still playing against them. Tapping away. Jorgmo's now there. Ult of his own. He's straight into the fight.
Spike planted.
The peak from Trent dropped down to just 50 health. This damage done to a variety of them. And Crashies will deliver the round to them.
Stands tall and finishes the half strong. That was a difficult one. Crashies wiping sweat off his brow. There were so many moments where it felt like Fnatic should have been able to close. Even in this round, they're slow, they're methodical, but they should have had the advantages. They put the squeeze onto those site anchors, and G2 was still able to get 7.
Still anyone's game, of course. Just a 2-round difference that can change. Just one simple pistol round. Before all that, we're going to send it down to Van Silly, who's waiting and standing by with a special guest.
Thank you once again, Bren, and this time I'm joined on the floor by Team Liquid's latest content creator, sorry, it's Shazam! Dude, I felt like I wasn't able to do that since like 2021 when I was casting your games. How you been?
I've been good. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Let's actually roll back the years, because 2021 was, you were the first to ever do it. Hoist the Masters Trophy in Reykjavik in 2021. So talk me through what it means for these players and for these teams to compete for this trophy right here in Toronto.
I mean, yeah, it means everything. It's like all you work towards, you know, like these guys scrim a lot, and it's the only goal. It's your life. Your life revolves around it.
And your life is now around content creation. The last team that you represented before joining Team Liquid was G2. So do you still have a little bit of ounce for cheering into G2 in this series against Fnatic?
Yeah, I mean, my time with G2, they were an incredible organization, and the guys on this team right now, I consider them good friends, and I'm like rooting for them to make it to the finals.
But Team Liquid right now is also fire as an organization, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. That goes without saying.
So another quick question here. So 2021 again with Reykjavik, you had a chance to IGL against Bolster as well on that stage. What's it like to play against Bolster, and how can he carry the team over to the victory?
Yeah, Boaster is someone I have a tremendous amount of respect for. He is a talented player. He works on his own game. He works on his team, and I think he's like a natural leader. Like you know, the antics on stage and stuff. It's like it's a good thing for a team. Like I'm sure they like laugh about it. It makes them happy. It makes people comfortable. It's like a really big thing. So
we definitely see them happy out there. And Shazam, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's always awesome to see you, brother. One more time for Shazam, everybody. And let's toss it back to the game.
Chaz was just mentioning, you know, the tenure, the history. Played against Boaster himself many a time.
Yeah, including Boaster's first Grand Finals appearance all the way back at the very first LAN event. It's incredible, the tenure, the amount of time that Boaster and Chronicle, for example, have been around. Take a look at the Coinbase Econ report here too. And I think one of the players to really take a look at is Kayak. Struggled a little bit on that attack side. We're going to expect him to be trying to invest into the operator as well. I would imagine that Fnatic are probably going to need a big performance out of him to recover, but they've been great in the pistol rounds, and that's where we're about to go back in. I think you could argue Fnatic should be 3-3 right now on pistols if they had somehow managed to allow Trent to pull off a miracle in round 1 here on Split.
Let's take a look now. All grouped up here from G2. 4 players ready to pounce. Flash. The fault line. Chronicle's going to be stunned up, and it's a bit late, but it's a bit disjointed from G2. Still gets the 1 from that freebie. Alpha from behind, but maybe about to be backstabbed in the blink of an eye. Dropping down silently. G2 are very aware of the fact. Surely hearing it, surely not. Might be able to claim this kill. Alpha is out wide, and there it is from behind. Leaf. Let's get it. Boaster's there, instantly there with a trade-off, but a bit flustered in his approach. He can't take the clean fight.
They've done a lot of damage over here to Jorgamo, but the entirety of this site opened up. And Jonah P in a very safe position where he might be able to provide some information for them. He's at least going to be able to clear the flank and let them know that not too much is coming from that direction. Tough one for Kayak and Crashies. Both players not really had those opportunities to get online yet on this map, so this would be a huge one for them to convert for Fnatic.
Jonah P is going to be keeping his eye at least a watchful, just takes a pot shot there, straight to the shoulder. Backs himself out, gets a bit of info for the team though. The fault line is good, Jogamo takes the peak off of it. Crashies gone, Kayak, it's all on his shoulders. Heavy weight to burden to try and win this one with time ticking in the way that it is. G2 get their second pistol round.
So 2 pistol rounds for Fnatic on Lotus, and now 2 pistol rounds back the other direction for G2 here on Split. And this second one, pretty clean to be honest. Alpha was really trying to find that timing to be able to put pressure on the vent players and still avoid getting backstabbed. And he did a great job. I mean, hitting a 180 to be able to deal with, or at least put pressure and damage onto Leaf is great, but overall the positioning and the setup worked better for G2. And now Alpha's going to go for a Bucky. The rest of the team on Fnatic not really with too much to work around.
All eyes on mid. Alpha straight through into sewers, just in case there was one player lurking, holding.
And do they have the information about this? It does feel like G2 are accelerating slightly, speeding things up to try to react into B.
Smoke's propped up, horns in your face, and Leaf is looking for a timing. Just seeing it. So Crashies, good C's, wall up.
This is going to help Alpha.
Yeah, Alpha's all the way behind. There's no timing to be caught here, so that's a beautiful kill.
Thing is, doesn't actually give any weaponry away. Leaves the one player allowed to be aggro on his lurk to give information.
Bit of pace behind this one. Could be gaps for Fnatic to play in, could be mistakes that they could absolutely capitalize on. Just the pistols in their hands, and they're making it work regardless. Jorgamo, just like that. Shoes on the other foot, he's the last one left to stand against this, and the damage has been done. Indeed, already, the net tightening. B-main control as Fnatic, they have almost the whole of the site. Jorgamo in a spot like this will have to do a lot. No free kills going to be given up whatsoever, and off a poster. Here comes the swing,
That's
shot
a lot
through
of
the
damage.
wall. Crashies, one more to the chest will do him. But still the guessing game for Jorgamo, does not know where this last player is.
And with time ticking down, surely it's not possible. A 1v4?
Surely not. Alpha, quite an upgrade in the midst of all of this one. Spectre in his hands, 10 seconds left. It's getting dire, out towards the top. Just can't land a shot. Fnatic! It's Rifty them right back.
We've seen so many of these rounds here on Split, where the team with lighter weaponry is able to put on a big performance. And it is another Mastercard Thrifty. I think a little bit of a scramble, a little bit rushed.
One enemy remains.
The G2 players, we talked about this previously in one of the other games, who said we were playing scared and fast. I think that was in the game against HyperX, actually, that they were talking about that.
What are you doing, bruv? Hey! What is going on? You're getting classic!
And Valin, I think he made the wrong judgment call there to accelerate towards the end. Fnatic already had the read that they were going to collapse into B. If he'd taken a slightly faster timing on the reaction, it might well have worked. But that is going to get Fnatic straight back into this game. And anytime you have a Thrifty like that, round 2, you're also allowing Fnatic to build up to these big ultimates.
Yeah, they're going to start farming. Orbs attempted to be picked up here, but just a random spam and spray. Fnatic got this one locked down.
It's Boaster who's 2 away from getting a Cosmic Divide. Could be big for a retake setup. Kayak potentially looking like he might be able to work towards his as well.
Toxin screen down.
Though, to be honest, the ones you're scared of for the defenders to get online are Chronicles and Alphas. Not like they've had any trouble getting up to ults quickly, though, because they've been fragging like demons in this game so far.
And they've been ridiculous. The backbone for the team, Trent.
Where are you? 30 seconds left.
Just going to decapitate Chronicle in the midst of all of this one, but with 25 seconds left, a hard ask ahead of G2.
An upgrade, though, to a rifle.
It's like Perch off angle. That's a Paranoid. It's a decent connection. Kayak forced to be dropping off that one now, but with 14 seconds left, time is against them. It's kills that are being needed right now for G2, and Fnatic not in the mood to be offering them. Clone taking the bullets. Time getting against him once more. Kayak has going to be falling there, but Boaster in through behind. Easy with the cleanup. 8-7.
Fnatic should be able to grab upgrades, at least on one of the weapons. Little bit of economic damage done there, but shouldn't harm Fnatic too much. Ended up being an all-right eco round, but compared to the standards we've seen so far on Split, where people are winning with nothing. Our attention then onto the next, and Kayak has now gone for the operator. So here's an opportunity for the player filling Durka's shoes in this Fnatic core.
Looking for the setup over towards B. He's found himself his place.
Early flash, and Kayak was still tucking knife out into this deep angle. He's found the timing, but would have to deal against a stun potentially. A prowler to try to push him off the line.
See what G2 have got.
He's got a great chance of landing the opening pick here, though.
Time being bled down. Okay, crash. Expiring soon, Kayak. Locks it down. Yeah. Oh, wow, the timing on that one, right as the gate clash does expire. Forced to back away. A lot of damage done to Kayak in the process. 16 health.
Face your fear!
Gets away alive, though. Still can play his life into this one with the Nightfall. It's going to be colliding. Pulls. Going to be used out early. Jorgamo already dipping his way in through the back of the site. And a wonderful peek at that. Fnatic trying to make a go of this one here. Kayak! With the operator in his hands, on through the high ground. Kills are collected and claimed across the board. It's 8-8.
Really solid defensive setup there. Love the timing on Boaster's peak. Kayak uses his clone. That gets popped. Boaster's in immediately behind to try to clear up Jorgamo. Here you see it on the replay again. Almost catches two as well. Huge amount of damage onto Valin, who was trying to teleport in. A great read as well from Fnatic in this round. They knew that this was going to be a B-pop. Of course, G2 had to give away quite a lot of what they were doing around the map just to deal with Kayak. So Kayak's up, finding a lot of passive value there, and he's going to keep it into the next. Fnatic may well have turned the tides of this one. Felt like they were on the back end of Split, every miracle moment going against them, and yet now they're in the driving seat, looking to try to close things out 2-0.
Ridiculous between these two teams. G2 themselves not even comprehending that they could be knocked out. They think of themselves as the main character, but the same could be said for Fnatic. Both of these squads looking to make history.
Got the spike. I do like the positioning of G2 though. I think you could argue that Fnatic are playing things a little too passive on their anti-ecos. Giving G2 full mid control just allows them to slice up the defenders.
Double drop down, Alpha, he's up onto the ropes. The bullet to the head of Jorgamo, but he is cleaned up.
Look how isolated Crashies is now, because these defenders can't rotate through mid.
We'll do it all from this spot. We'll see what the call is from G2 though. Steady as they go.
And this is how you see these thrifty rounds crumble. Perfect pause as well to make Crashies wonder about whether or not they're actually hitting, whether he should call Boaster over as support.
Reveals his position, bit of spam. Drop down, he hears it. Footsteps colliding with the floor. This is G2 with open access now towards the site and looking for potentially a refight. It's a plan for Heaven and for main. Dimensional drift from Kayak. He's going to be getting a lot of information. A lot of ults expended, even that. It's a cosmic divide, and they're trying to take this fight forward. G2 with a lesser weaponry, not to be denied that space. In through spawn already, Jonah P picking up that upgrade. And it's a complete collapse once more.
Way too much space given to G2. You have to fight them at least a little and not just to allow them to completely control the tempo. You saw there that G2, Valin calls that fight over towards screens. And it's set up secondarily with the stun from Jonah P. So they're already fighting, getting information, and then commit the utility. And Kayak, he's got no hope of winning that 1v3. Another Mastercard Thrifty to prop up. And G2 up straight back into things.
Bit of a mid-take here. Fnatic trying to hold against this one, but a Dimensional Drift's going to be used nice and early. A TP, even into spawn, but cancelled out. G2 throwing some fakes into the mix. Trying to spot out some of these players. Kayak assertive, but reveals it! Just missed timing onto it. Jordan had to exit out through D4. Kayak puts it down. Alpha forced out now with the ult in his hands. It's a showstopper. And a scurry away from G2.
It's a good cancel call from G2, but really that execute is not what they were looking for. They were hoping that Fnatic were going to be looking in spawn for Valen.
The jiggle crashes, gets the info he's looking for. Flash and a repeat.
So now you've just got to try to call a pretty standard round, but 4v5. Difficult for Valen.
Gap here, there's pressure happening over towards A Heaven. Spike landing up over towards that area. G2 are layering down a bit of util, trying to keep players here. The barrel poking out. Chronicle has Leaf in his sights.
But it's not informing any defensive rotates from B to
30
A.
seconds left.
Look how isolated these A and B players are. And Leaf, he gets away with it.
It's a bullet to the dome, but through the wall, as you said, he gets away with it. He survives. G2 doing up now, trying to set themselves up for a complete attempt, and all the way through. This is Boaster back against the wall. A lot to do from this spot. Chronicle trying to dodge and juke and avoid most of it. The ire is coming his way. G2 with that side control. Trent has to be that playmaker. What a swing and what a play. Chronicle single-handedly saving the day.
So nice from Chronicle. After he missed that kill up towards Heaven that he was eager for, salivating, he just rips a wide swing against Trent. This early play at the start of the round may be a result of the Yoru nerfs. You know, a couple of extra seconds there on an ultimate, and maybe Kayak's position is scouted out, but as you say, it's all Chronicle at the end of the day there. A G2 are now going to be forced to do it again with weaker weaponry. At some point, surely Fnatic start to get a comfortable lead. G2 cannot keep doing this with bad buys.
It's been miracle rounds after miracle rounds. G2, as you said, they can't keep getting away with it. They do have the stingers. Good adjustment there from the spray down, Chronicle. Doesn't reveal much. Fault line into the corner. That's a clone to be tanking some of the bullets. Alpha just trying to evacuate. A lot of bodies though trying to make their way in through, and Chronicle has been overwhelmed. Boaster reciprocates.
And this time Fnatic are actually trying to fight G2, but they are losing. A 3v3, and G2 have managed to gain mid control. It was contested.
I got the spike.
And at least it's given them information for somebody like Crashies to be able to wrap fully round on this flank.
Jonah does not have a gun to try and stop this. It's a classic in hand, and Crashies is going for it. It's a slight off angle, takes a ding to the head. They're trying to run him down. Trent. No denial of the kill. Upgrades across the board now. It's 2 from Fnatic, Kayak and Boaster to do it all.
I think this read is really nice as well. When Crashies gets caught here, pretty confident there's not going to be as many players over towards B.
30 seconds left.
All still being used though. In the back pocket, Kayak's ahead of it. He's found that timing, he's straight ahead of it. Kayak needs some kills to be claimed though. Catch the first! We're not expecting that. Jonah P was down from behind!
How have they done it again?
Again!
It doesn't matter what Fnatic's game plan is. If they play passive to try to avoid the stingers, then G2 just take the site and play post-plan. If they try to contest them for space, they're losing the fights to the death ball, the brawl of G2.
Down B.
It is a nightmare right now, and you can see it writ all over the body language of these coaches.
No, we're winning every round, even though it's chaotic through mid. Just keep it up until they...
They're winning every round, but they're winning primarily when they don't have weapons.
Yeah, and the odds are stacked against them as G2. They proved that they have grit from that last series, the run back against Gen G. Fnatic are feeling it now.
Big investment of a Viper's Pit in a round where you have bad economy. Fnatic do not want G2 to be able to get comfortably up to 11. Frankly, the weaponry hasn't made a huge difference here on split, so entirely winnable for Fnatic.
Portal closed.
But this death ball style has been the best thing for G2. Just having so many bodies there to be able to trade out individual stars like Alpha, who is positioned right now to try to catch people on the cross into A. So I think it's Crashy's job to try to draw attention, and Alpha, the dagger in the back.
Crashy's jiggling. Like you said, looking to pounce onto this one here to seize a nade. Only catching onto the clone. No casualties.
By going for that Season 8 though, Alpha's given up his position. so he has to relocate up to heaven.
Paranoia swoops forwards, a gate crash in. Alpha is
30
on
seconds left.
the high ground, Guardian in hand.
And the time has not been a problem for G2 this series just yet.
25 seconds left, and you can hear it rumble of the footsteps, and there it is! Trying to make your way forwards. A bit of spam coming through, but still evens out G2 and spending everything. But can they remove Crashies finally? Yes. Time, 11 seconds left.
10 seconds left.
Utilizing the pit, though, against two players with light weaponry could be a disaster for Leaf.
Out forwards, trying to take that timing. Leaf, seeing if they've crossed past it already. Boaster can get in close and personal. Bucky in hand. All the way through, that's a bullet to the back. Pellets raining down and the pit falls because of it. Nothing to hide, Trent away. He's got to do it all from this spot here to jiggle the shots. It's immaculate from Boaster. The 2v1, smoke up, full committal. And Chronicle sticking counter spam from Boaster. It's 10 to 10.
And another Thrifty, of course it is. No team right now can win when they have rifles. And I think the big reason why is because the teams are willing to take more risks when they have bad weaponry. Fnatic is willing to gamble stack and go really fast just based on noise cues, willing to take timings and moments of aggression. G2's economy once more is going to be on the ropes. Why do I even bother talking about it, though? It was another Mastercard Thrifty, so who cares? It's a scrap out here.
It has not mattered. The energy is just oscillating between these two teams, but Fnatic are the ones now in the driving seat once more. A map ahead. Looking for the round that's going to make all the difference. G2 are forwards, the horn not broken, dropping down, no mistakes are being made. Alpha sends it flying forwards with the boombot in hand, wants to try and take it! That's a gun uploaded, Jonah. Happy to shut him down.
And even throws the weapon away to a teammate with slightly better health. Leaf, a monster,
Can't be
and
happening again.
another opportunity for another Thrifty. I mean, the player post-plan positions are even quite nice from Jorg and from Trent.
Tucked in, rooted to the spot. Through heaven, that's going to be a horn that has to be dealt with. Jordan was the one with a rifle. Fault line, Cosmic Divide even being committed. TP now into the back in the space. Right there, they have no idea. They are none the wiser. Kayak, it's your time to shine. And shine he does! Absolutely ridiculous!
What a sick play from a player that was struggling a little bit in the first half. He has come online and more in the second. He's making his way firmly up and up the scoreboard. And with plays like that, I mean, it's a gorgeous play. Leaf's even watching for it, but it gets hit fully by the flash. An accidental kill even onto Jonah P. And Kayak's positive again after that one.
Nice! You can see how much it means to him.
Finally, stability. Because this match, it's been like a double pendulum. It's literally impossible. Chaotic forces all over the place. But G2, they're going to take a tactical timeout as both teams finally reset with equal economy. A wild situation, and one in which I think the mental of G2 again is really going to get tested here.
Yeah. You thought it was tested before. This is a completely different scenario. Fnatic have that edge, that lead, and they want to take it all the way home. They want to be the team that carves out that path, that lower bracket run that is so damn legendary, and deny G2 their own chance of redemption.
Yeah, both of these squads dropped into the lower bracket right at the beginning. Both #1 seeds from their regions, the last representatives of Americas and EMEA, and both with players that are searching for records to be broken. Jorg looking to be the second ever player to win a Masters and a Champs. People on Fnatic, I mean, Chronicle, top of the scoreboard. If he's able to win this tournament, it'd be his 4th trophy, utterly ridiculous. And then on the other side of things, people looking for redemption like Crashies playing against his region, trying to eliminate them, and 2 rounds away from doing so.
Jam-packed is the matchup. Alongside that history, Kayak. They crash away, won't be punished with the fault line expended there from G2. Chronicle. He's got to try and hold this one down. He's been good for it. It's a seize. Dodged alongside that aftershock. Another flash into his face with the power on top of it, Jorgamo.
That's a monster entry.
Lights out.
Double reclear potentially into Leaf over towards A ramp, but Boaster, he's backed up to cover vents, so it's actually just Alpha isolated here, trying to force the fight into Leaf.
This fight's happening on both sides of things here with the boombot instantly broken. Deep push from Crashies. Hyperextending. Now Valin, he heard the flash, he saw it. It's got to feel like there could be the possibility of a deep push up, but risks to be taken when you're a player down. Crashies is getting so much information for them, and Kayak, it's a cherry on top.
Yeah, he's expending this ult just for information. It would have been amazing for the retake, honestly, to combine with Crashies, but Crashies pushed up.
No way, Valin expects it and he doesn't. Dropped.
It's a wild off angle, that one.
30 seconds left. B main control still there for Fnatic. They have a beautiful hold on this one. Even a Nightfall going to be expended. Flash up into the faces here. G2, a weakened, decayed down. Lee finds it. Clears up that one question mark. Kayak answers again. 14 seconds. Layers them all down. Lines them all up and Leaf knife out. He's going to do it all now, but there's no chance in hell. Swarmed in his position. Attack to force it out. It's 12 rounds for Fnatic.
And we have been talking so much about the storied players in this. The IGL battle, Chronicle Alpha, yeah, the core, and yet it's Kayak in the final moments who is making the difference. Filling some gigantic shoes, was dominant in stage 1. And has now put together 2 huge rounds.
What is happening?
And he's really getting into this.
Happening?
Fnatic 1 round away from sending G2 home.
Bring them down.
1 round away from claiming that spot in the lower finals. Taking a quick peek. TP even committed there. Jorgamo did not want to be caught into that corner. Deep mid control. Kayak not pushed back.
Where are you?
Finally will concede that space, but this is Fnatic on a tear. Looking to go further.
Valin under a lot of pressure, calling
Active.
for help.
Hyper active as a seize and a nade. TP to disengage. Valin still has his life, but that timing is caught. It's a bullet to the side of the head from Leaf. And now he has to watch in dismay from the spectator seat. As your team's chances are dwindling, it's Fnatic entirely here. Kayak looking to drop, and Valin is gone. The captain removed. Death from 1,000 cuts here. Fnatic are happy to deliver it.
Teleport in onto the A side, but didn't have the spike. Every player from G2 trying to pull off a 3v5 from inside the site. Nobody with heaven control, nobody on the flank. Should be a slam dunk retake for Fnatic with players up.
Dink through the wall. Crash is still alive. Ults are here, rolling thunder. It's G2. They realize it. They have to try and fight tooth and nail for every inch of space, but Kayak is already wrapping. The discipline is here from Fnatic. You need a miracle if you're G2. Fnatic are not in the business of giving them out. Already to swing in the face. Alpha claims the space and more. Jonah P to last-ditch effort. That's all it's looking to be. Beautiful from Fnatic. And they sent G2 packing.